I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What's up? Welcome back in here to Pregaming at Sports Money. You know, it's got to be somewhere between Monday and Friday if it's 6 p.m. and we're blasting off here live with Pregaming, your final destination to get all that last-minute sports betting information, insight, line movement, cash flow splits, injury updates, all the rest. It don't matter. We're going to try to put our heads together to come up with some big winning tickets. And that's what we did last night. Holy cow, what a big start to this week it's been. Gosh, it feels good, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Man, you know they're going to be hating when we start winning. And that's sure enough going to be the case, which is fine because my bankroll is flourishing. We have been on fire. I'm excited about the trend. We gave out the Instagram play of the day. That cashed yesterday. Got another Instagram play of the day out there for today. So you guys don't want to miss those. Freebie action. We got the contest rolling as well. Good thing we're winning because it's going to cost me some money to ship this package out to one lucky winner. Going to pick up $100 in gift cards. You're going to pick up all kinds of barbecue sauces, rubs, flavor enhancers, and everything you need for a 4th of July barbecue from Sports Money. Should be able to do quite a bit with that. You know, maybe that's a case of beer, some ribs and some chicken on the grill. Maybe you just want to go right to ribeyes and you don't give a shit. If you don't want the sauces, let me know because I do. I do. As a matter of fact, I just ran out of one of them. So excited about that. And today is the last day. So we will have the announcement here tomorrow. We'll make the final contest announcement for 6 p.m. Also, we've been running hot. I hate to have to do this, but I certainly do because Friday night is fight night. Kevin Carrier pops off. That's our guy. We believe in Kevin. We believe in his journey to the UFC, and we sponsored our friend here. We partnered up. He will be rolling down there at Seneca Allegheny with the Legacy Fighting Alliance Friday night. That means we will not have a pre-gaming show. So we got 2 days to get it in. We got an NBA Finals tomorrow night. That'll probably be the last night with this news about Halliburton, the Halliban. This will probably be the last night for NBA championships, which is fine because we have gotten tons and tons. Am I the best live NBA bettor on the planet? I don't know. I'm trying to be humble about this thing, but man, we have found some great angles. I better knock on wood. I don't want to be overzealous here. So we got a lot moving. We got a lot of moving parts. We got a lot of things happening. We got some big announcements on Saturday. We got a UFC live stream on Saturday. They're out in fucking Timbuktu on Saturday. And I think they're popping off. They're going to start punching each other in the face around noon our time, 12 p.m. our time. So we'll have a nice fight card for the UFC on Saturday after our LFA Friday. What else is brewing around the world of sports money? You know, the VB, MMA, and Ramon Scott show is out there. I need you guys to check it out. Don't sleep on that show out there. Them boys are hot with the UFC. We'll be posting up our first strike video. We'll have the UFC playbook ready for you guys as well. All kinds of things happening. You know the deal. We don't stop. Rain, sleet, or snow, sports money is good to go. And if it ends in a Y, it's a good day for us to make money. Any day that ends in a Y is an opportunity for us to profit. So I think that brings us current. Now, congratulations to them Florida Panthers. What a big victory. I'm going to stand on it. First of all, this is why we don't bet teams to win the Stanley Cup just because they lost the Stanley Cup. Second, what'd you get for your odds for Florida Panthers or even Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup? 8-1, 7-1, 6-1. In the last 3 nights, we cashed a 10-1, a 13-1, an 8-1, a 6-1, a 7-1. Last night, if you got involved on some of these spots, what I tell you with that Reds game, even if the Reds go down, live bet them. That bullpen for Minnesota is terrible. 3.5-1 casher. So you want to go tie your money up? You want to go take your future bets for Edmonton? I hope nobody's doing that. God, I hope nobody's doing that. But I'm telling you not to do that. Put that money where we tell you to put that money. It's going to grow. You're going to reap the benefits. In 1 week, we outplayed that money sitting around. And by the way, if you bet Edmonton, you got $0. So I stand by it. Plus your fucking feet are taped to the pedals. You want to own Edmonton all season like that? I don't want to think anybody's in that position. So a cap on the bow of the NHL season there. Shout out to them Florida Panthers. What I was most excited about, first of all, Florida beat them boys up. I mean, they were up every single period. I didn't realize that they started every playoff series on the road as well. So Florida dealt with some adversity. Now the Kachuk, the sanction cheating, they're probably going to change that. Can expect that to be the case throughout. I think 2 things. One, the NHL can't be happy with the playoff format. They don't want these Florida teams in the Stanley Cup finals. Kills the ratings. No disrespect. I know our Florida fans are passionate about the NHL as I am, but we're the only ones. Breaking news. We're the only ones. And so even the people up north don't want to fly down to Florida this time of year because it's nice up north. So, hey. Also, I'd envision they will close that loophole. The sanction cheating that I am referencing is taking your big-time player in Matthew Tkachuk, putting him on the injured reserve list because he gets hurt, legitimate hurt in that Four Nations tournament. Gives you more contract to spend, and then you can go in the playoffs. The playoffs start, there's no salary cap. I don't know what they do. Do they change it by putting a salary cap on the playoffs? Do they limit roster? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like, but they got 2 big decisions that they have to have here in the next couple of years because I believe this upcoming Winter Olympics will generate a lot of NHL buzz. They're already announcing some of these rosters on these players and these teams, and hockey's on the uptick. So congratulations to those Ice Cats. That was a great season, and I was happy to see physical hockey. What's great about that? This is what I like most about physical hockey. You smack a team a couple times. Bang, bang, bang. What do? Well, they either roll over and turtle, right? They kind of do one of these, please don't hurt me anymore. Or they decide to try to match your intensity. And we saw that right off the gate yesterday. Edmonton's out there chasing around, trying to throw big hits on Florida. Already out of their game plan. So it was fun. It was a fun series. Great games, big money. That 10-1 was legit. Shit, these games are dropping like flies today with this weather the way it is. So, congratulations again. Congratulations to Sports Money, all you guys, because we are finding the needle and thread and dominating the WNBA season. I knew it was. I fucking felt good about it. 2 years of just kind of really following these gals and seeing what's going on. Big stuff out there. In fact, let's go through a recap. We got to get to work. As we got 640 action popping off here this evening. In fact, tonight's card I added a WNBA play. So we will have WNBA back in the saddle again. Back in the saddle again. We're going to start with Philadelphia and the Miami Marlins. That's a 640 start. Stay tuned. Minnesota, Cincinnati will be another play that we're involved in. Arizona and Toronto. Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Colorado and the Washington Nationals will battle. That's an ad on the card. St. Louis and the White Sox just got postponed. So we will not need to talk about that game. I was going to be on the White Sox. Yeah. Kansas City and Texas, and then the Astros and the Athletics. We'll close out the Major League Baseball card. I will have 1 WNBA play. There is 1 WNBA game. So why the hell not? Why not us? Fuck. I I really wanted that White Sox. Plus, they had that parlay boost out there for the boost for FanDuel. So I fucking dropped a max on a 5-legger that included the White Sox. Oh, that's going to mess all those odds up. Okay. PGA Golf will get underway tomorrow. We have the PGA Golf video out there today for you guys to check out. I'll clip it into a couple shorts, but MMA Jeff has been gassing the field. Even though it's been chalky with some Scotty Schefflers and such, his plus 500s, plus 400s, plus 900s, top 5, top 10, top 20s are something to take note of. I'm just hoping to keep up. I got 3 guys out there this week that I got involved with. So that video is out there as well. Let's take a look at yesterday. Let's get on to today. These games are dropping like flies. I was going to fade Detroit, by the way. I don't care if it's Scooble Day. He's not the fucking whole team. Pirates have been hitting as well. So, que sera? Let's start with the WNBA. Plus 18 points for the UConn, the Connecticut Sun. That's branding right there, by the way. If you want to talk about brands, you got Coke, you got Pepsi. What are those tissue things that you call to blow your nose in it when you're got allergies? Or those are called Kleenex, right? Then you look at, what are those things you put in your ear to get the wax out? Q-tips. What are those? Those aren't what they're called. Those are the companies. Branding. Women, that's a marketing lesson for everybody. UConn women basketball is so prolific that I see the Connecticut Sun and I think UConn marketing. Them gals be good. Maybe not so much now with South Carolina and the likes. But anyhow, we'll talk about that down the road. Let's go. Let's get to it here. So UConn, I almost did it again. The Connecticut Sun plus 18 points. They lost by 17 points. Cash it. Picked up a plus 21.5 along the way. Second game in the WM. Now, these were sweaty. These were the definition of sweat because I'll tell you how you know they're sweaty. The Washington Mystic, minus 4.5, right? Line open at 3.5. It goes to 4.5. We got the 4.5. Even saw some pricey 4.5s out there, like minus 115s and 116s. Oh, there goes the Milwaukee Cubs game. Bang, bang, bang. They're dropping like flies. I was able to get the Washington Mystic money line at plus 110. That's how you know that one was sweaty. Dallas Wings, they win 80-71. We had minus 3.5. Was able to get the Dallas Wings money line plus 125. They covered. Got some extra value out of those plays out there. It was a fire night. So a nice little 3-0. By the way, I did reference with that Lynx game, if you get an opportunity to take that team total down from that 83.5, that you should do it. And 74.5s were available. I took that. I live bet it. I cashed. So got to pay attention to what we're talking about when it comes to live betting strategies. We added Willie Warren in Major League Baseball. Over 6.5 strikeouts. Fucking dude went out there and got 11. Should have laddered. Where was the ladder on that one? Took a plus 105. The Toronto Blue Jays. Huge comeback at the end. Plus 350 money lines. They come back. They win that game 5-4. We had that big bounce back trend for the Toronto Blue Jays. Remember, when they get embarrassed, they fire back the next day. The Cincinnati Reds. We cashed the Cincinnati Reds 6-5. We talked about them going down. They were down in the 5th inning. Got as high as plus 380s, I think, plus 400, something like that for the Cincinnati Reds. Did not get the Andrew Abbott to get the win prop, plus 190. That line moved against him in that case, too. It was 185 all morning. It moved to 190. He did not get the win. So for what it's worth, if those props are moving, we might have to keep a better eye on those. But we got the Cincinnati Reds win. The Baltimore Orioles busted up them Tampa Bay Rays. Stop postponing games. Who's postponed now? Baltimore gets the win for us. The Texas Rangers, Kansas City Royals was live betting that thing at 9.5, 10.5, and 11.5 unders. Under 8, minus 105. Cash for 6-1 final. And the last game that didn't get there, I was able to live bet some Cleveland Giants under 7s. But the San Francisco Giants and the under 8 did not cash for us. So that and the Edmonton Oilers lost at plus 148. So that's how you have a nice day, though. what was that? 8-3, I believe, was the total overall. Plus a 3-1 RBI day. Not a bad way to get this week rolling. So that's the deal. That's the way we beat them up yesterday. Now let's talk about getting after it today, because again, these games are dropping like flies. Effective immediately. The Cubs-Milwaukee game off the board. The Tigers-Pirates off the board. I was going to take the under in the Brewers game. I don't care if there was wind. I was going to take the Pirates. Current situation, the Red Sox are up 3-1 over the Mariners. Bottom of the ninth. That was an under. I missed that one. My fade guy in soccer did cash for me this afternoon, for what it's worth. If anybody's curious, there is a fade play for this evening. The Rockies and Nationals has been delayed, which is okay. Actually, I think that works out better. I think that's going to work out better for us. And then the Cardinals and White Sox has been postponed. So update your scorecards accordingly. Make sure you get your money back on those games here, because this weather sucks. And that Pirates-Detroit game will now be a doubleheader on Thursday. So I pretty much eliminated all those games for me. I'm going to guess, though, that I knew the weather was popping like it was this morning. They got to know that. I would imagine they factored that in as they were getting themselves ready to get rolling. Maybe not a full stretch for the pitchers out there, but plenty of action still. Plenty of content to get to here for this games. Let's keep her moving. Guys, you know the deal. It's thumbs up time. Best thing you can do to help this show is smack that thumbs up button. I put the reminder across the bottom. The thumbs up are slacking. We're cashing and the thumbs up are slacking. But I do appreciate you guys that have taken the opportunity. And of course, our silver and gold members. That's how you can support me. That's how you can support what we're doing here, is going out there, getting a silver or gold level membership. If you're making some cash with us, you're making some money on these bets, consider spending a couple extra bucks. It's just $5 more to become a silver member. That's going to give you weekday plays. We'll sprinkle in some weekend plays. The gold membership will give you all the plays out there that we add on top of things. But take a second, smash that thumbs up button. Then we'll get back to work and we'll get this show on the road. All right. Feel good, man. Feels good to win. Feels good when you're seeing the board right. Catching the breaks. I told you before, we grind, right? We're prospectors. We're grinders. We're going to try to stake claim, and some days we'll go 4-3. Some days we'll go 3-4. I think the trick here is that we've got a really optimum. I noticed that 7-8 plays is like the optimum scorecard for me. I know when it goes to 10 or 11, these are things that I think about. When it goes to 10, I'm mowing the lawn in between rainstorms today, and I'm like, you know what? I got to stop giving out 10, 11 plays. I play them too, but 7-8 seems to be a nice optimum number for us here. So anyways, I digress. That being said, though, get your pen and papers out. We got a whole bunch of plays from the best damn chat in the business ready to share their action with you, and it's going to be Gerald Jones that pops us off. Make sure you put your best bets out there. We're going to talk about these. You know this is my favorite part of the show. I told you yesterday, our guy Gerald Jones is about to pop the top on his scorecard. So get yourselves ready. I know this man has been working hard, grinding on the card. He had Arizona-Toronto over 9 last night. And he's got Houston on the run line tonight. I like that play a lot. Gerald Jones. Thank you for sharing, my guy. RBI was a lot of fun, he says. Was. I'm going to build a list, too, for you guys of all the players that we utilize, just so you kind of have that short list of who was utilizing, and I'll show how many times they cashed, just as like a percentage or something like that, just so there's a little, so that we have our own little short list of RBI guys to work with. Because look, if they're scoring, there were some obscure ones out there, but for the most part, you're going to want to know who those heavy hitters are. Shout out to Markel, shout out to J-Main, shout out to Todd Clinton. Says your plays yesterday were fire. They were fire. It feels good. Hate to come in here and, we recap every day, but I hate to have my fucking head down. I try not to keep my head down. Jay Main says Marquez, Marlins, Trey Turner, CJ Abrams over a half a stolen base are good money. Shout out to David Wallace and Jay Main out there. He says, we out here moving boulders. That's right, dude. I'm inspired to go back and watch Ballers now. David Wallace has been killing it this week. Brian Smith's in the house. Kenny Woods here ready to roll. Jay Main says Trey Turner kills Mazur. 3 pitches like him for a steal. And this, his total bases, hits, runs, and RBIs. Oof, struggling. You got me there, Jay Main. Got the AOD, Joe W, and Phil the Kill. What's up, Phil? Jay Main says, beat the Heat. I'm trying to beat the Heat right now. Gorky says, Pagula fucked me. And I'm assuming that could either be Buffalo Sabres. No, they're out. Could be the Buffalo Bills. No, they're probably a favorite to win the Super Bowl. Could be Penn State. Nope, Penn State hockey's over. Probably what he means is Jesse Pagula. And I'm assuming that means women's tennis didn't go that way for Jesse Pagula. Shout to Corky, though. He says Seattle fucked him too. Sucks, dude. I didn't mean to say it like that. Jay Main says Trey Turner looking good. Gorky with 4-0 yesterday. Gary Davis says Phillies first 5 and full game run line. Phillies team total over. I told you guys yesterday, I thought that Phillies lineup, or that Phillies with the, you got to pay attention sometimes when there's a little dissension in the ranks and Nick Castellanos is coming out of the lineup, even though he's been in there for like 290 straight games. Something going on. Now I do like him to bounce back today. Jay Main's got 5 players out tonight for them 2 games. Damn. I hate when that happens. Jerry Davis. Nicholas Handy's here. He's ready to rock with us. Yeah, you guys are going to have to update them DFS lineups if that's what you do. Curious if you guys do DFS. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. We're looking at the fall lineup. Is there enough interest for a DFS show? I don't know. Curious. Nicholas Handy says PCA and my Tigers. Yeah. Shout out to AOD says Cloud Seeding. Nasty Nakes thinks the Red Sox are going to smash. They are smashing. Nicholas Handy says double headers tomorrow. AOD says the mechanic, a.k.a. the wrench, is Nasty Nate. Let's get to work. Shout out to Gorky says, let's go gold. Appreciate you guys, man. I'm ready. Oh. I'll tell you what. I went and got a massage the other day. I think the chick knocked something loose in my throat. She was working on the side of my neck. Oh. So good. No. I can't breathe, but the pressure's good. You guys know what I'm saying. Okay, let's pop her off. Let's get this thing rolling. 6:40 p.m. waits for nobody. This is a game where they were deciding all day long who's going to get the start on this pitch or this bump for the Miami. I was talking soccer earlier. And it's Adam Mazur. Adam Mazur against Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez is having himself a season, and he's a lefty. We know that they only see lefties about 18% of the time, which means we automatically have an advantage for the Phillies, and they're in a bounce back position. Automatically. Now, I don't know much about this Mazur cat. I know he's a righty. I know his... I don't know. Is he making his debut tonight? It looks like as well. So the Red Sox get that win 3-1. Here's the deal. This number was 7.5. It did move to 8.5 for the total. Now, you could splash the pot, I think, on this game. I'm fine with anybody that wants to take Phillies first 5. I'm fine with anybody that wants to take Suarez to get the run. In fact, let me look and see what Suarez to get the run is. Where we have some concern for this Philadelphia Phillies team is certainly around the bullpen. They can shit the bed with the best of them. Even money for Suarez to get a win. Okay. I'm going to add that to the card as well. I like adding some plays throughout the games here. So here's the deal. I believe this is going to be an opener situation on the Mazur side of things here. It doesn't matter here. Suarez locks teams down. He's 18-0 on an understretch. After a home start, allowed less than 3 runs per game. The average total, average for the game, 5.5. I realize I neglected to give these splits. Let me step back. 84% of the bets, 93% of the cash are on the Phillies. It's come down 24 cents. Not really fair because they didn't really announce the pitcher, so I don't know how much that's true line movement. 96% of the bets, 96% of the cash are on the over, 7.5. It did move to 8.5 again. I dismissed it because it's more a function of the pitching change and announcement that they put out there. But I'm taking this under. I like Suarez to shut the team down. Miami, 8-0 to the under. If they got 3 or more hits on the opponent's bullpen the previous day. In other words, they can't do it again. And they're going under by 3 runs a game. They're also a perfect 9-0 to the under after a win. And they're going under by 3 runs a game. So I took the under 8.5. And then upon further review, when I see Suarez against Mazur, I'm going to jump in and take the Suarez to record the win at plus 100, at plus even money over there in DraftKings. That's going to be the way we pop off tonight's betting card. We're going to pop that game off in about 12 minutes, maybe 13 minutes or so to get your action in. 6:45 p.m. on a slight delay is going to take us to game number 2 that I don't have a graphic for. But I am dogging. I am dogging in game number 2 with the... Actually, I guess it's going to be pushed back even more, right? Let's see. They just fucking cancel this one too now? Cancel this one on me too? Delayed. High level, we'll just move quickly. 69% of the bets, 58% of the cash are on the Nationals. The lines come down 23 cents. In other words, reverse line movement, making it more affordable to bet the Nationals when the public are banging on them. The total at 9.5, 88% of the bets, 87% of the cash. The Nats are a fade position here for a couple of reasons, but this is like the Oakland or the whoever Athletics. What do you call them? Vegas, Sacktown, whatever you want to call them. You know what? They have that 14, 15, 17 straight losing games. Young teams lose confidence, don't have anybody to go out there and shape them and ship them up in the right direction. Bottom line. I know it's Herman Marquez. That's why the number opened up the way it did. But with all due respect, the Rockies have been battling. They uncorked the bats. They got a 10-1 lead to win that game against the Atlanta Braves. They beat 6-4. They beat 10-6 this Washington Nationals team that just can't quite seem to find their groove. They're now on a 9-game losing streak, this Washington Nationals as well. So I still think this, look, they're putting a plus 1.5 at minus 150s. The books are thinking this is a tight game. And the Nationals in that favorite role are 0-8 going back to May 9th. I said this to you guys yesterday, even though I didn't have the official play for the Colorado Rockies. I said, it's the same position it was the day before. The Nats shouldn't be a favorite until further notice. They're probably going to go on. Let's see who they play the next series. Let's see who the Nats got on deck this following series. Where'd it go? Oh, the Dodgers. And they're traveling? Oh, they get, yeah. They got the Dodgers, they got the Padres, and they got the Angels. So they got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 games. Let's say they'll be lucky to go 2-8 on this West Coast trip. And they'll probably get those 2. I bet you they get 1 against the Padres and 1 against the Angels. Write it down. Mark it down. There's another one of them. We talked about that. What was the team that we had that big run on as well? I'm taking Colorado. I don't care about it being Herman Marquez. I said this before, and I'll kind of stand by it. I mean, from a favorable bats matchup here, Herman Marquez can certainly get that thing to drift around some of those swingers on the Nationals, and they're just young and inexperienced. So collectively, I'm going to fade these Nats until further notice, and I'm telling you, they're going 2-8. I'll find those 2 games. One of them is going to be against the Padres. One of them is going to be against the Angels. That's the way that we get future thought process going on. That's the way that we prognosticate. Got to make some bold claims. Got to stand by them. It was the Angels that we made that claim on. I think we fell 1 short, but still made some great plus money on it. So J-Main says, I got to work on my texting skills. Been told my shit's hard to read. I can read that, dude. J-Man says, never tried DFS. Yeah, I mean, we do it. We do it. A bunch of us do it. And, we'll throw a couple bucks in on like the afternoon slate for the NFL. Don't really do it for anything else. But it's fun, like you pick your team, run it for the 1 o'clock slate, run another one back for the 4 o'clock slate. Sometimes it's like that $5 to win $1 million type of thing, something like that. I don't usually get involved in the million makers, but we like to mess around with it. So anyhow, DJ Hardy says SPG. Brian Smith says, I took that total over 9. He's talking about that Phillies game. Kenny Wood says, cash that Red Sox money line. Ramon Scott's coming in with the weather update. Take my White Sox off the board. White Sox were going to smash. The Sox were going to smash. Right after we parked the car. Let's go. David Wall says, that's how I started DFS, the NFL. Me too. Tarek B says, Diamondbacks in Toronto over, leaning Toronto. Look, leaning to the 6. All right. Onward, upward. Let's talk about the Sox cashed. They sure did. I just faded I had that fade play. So I faded it on soccer. That was the only, and then I went out and fucked around all afternoon with a bunch of bullshit. So I missed it. Sox play. I missed the Sox smashing. All right. Angels, Yankees. Good luck to you. You know who I would look at since we added this one randomly yesterday with the Willie Warren strikeout prop? Why not Jazz Chisholm? Here's the thing about Jazz Chisholm. Yeah, he's not the fucking guy, but there's a lot of issues. And we talked about this. We knew this was going to happen. We didn't know that they were going to continue to get shut out, but we knew that when they brought back Giancarlo Stanton, it was going to be a problem for those batters. That's what we're seeing. What I like about a guy like Giancarlo, or what I like about a guy like Jazz, he's kind of like a nobody on that team. He's kind of, he was great for the Marlins before he came to the Yankees, but that's what happens. They bring these guys in and they kind of shit the bed, right? So, it was the Marlins, right? Anyways, you need somebody like that to come dig down grab that other team by its loins and smack that ball out of the yard. And if you're a nobody, you might as well be the guy that steps up and does it, because right now, Judge, Stanton, they're struggling. Volpe, Rice-A-Roni can't seem to get it done either. So you're going to have to lean on Jazz Chisholm. I looked at his RBI price tag too tonight. It's like plus 155. So kind of a little suspect that be the number. He plays well at home. He's hitting the second best of any of the Yankees at home. That's a little impromptu spot there. We got some cancellations, so we got to fill some gaps here. The Diamondbacks and the Jays will be the next play that we have action on here. Excuse me. We saw what happened yesterday. The Diamondbacks could not hang on to that lead in the 9th inning. The Toronto Blue Jays come back and win the game, walk-off fashion. Minus 112 has moved down to minus 106. In other words, we have a little flipperoo in the favorites here. 52% of the bets and 45% of the cash are on the Diamondbacks. And the total's at 9. Seeing some 8.5s. 94% of the bets and 95% of the cash. That's why I referenced we're seeing some 8.5s. What the hell is going on with this total? It's Erod. Eduardo Rodriguez for a 6.27 ERA. And Lauer. Going to take I was going to call it switching between bump and pitch. Struggling with that right now. Got to reprogram my short-circuiting brain right now here. In a battle, Toronto sits 3rd in the AL East. The Diamondbacks sit 4th in the NL West. We talked about this yesterday. What a great read. And this is why you got to laugh at some of these things, man. We talked about how bad the Diamondbacks are when they fly across the country and play against the AL East. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. Now they're going to Eduardo Rodriguez. This is lefty versus lefty matchup. And you guys know my initial thought when I look at cards and I see lefty is under. That being said, I'm looking at Eduardo Rodriguez. I see that this guy's got that 6.27 ERA. And what are we looking at from Eduardo? Well, he came off a pretty decent start against them Seattle Mariners. It was at home. But what we're seeing with this young bloke is he likes to give up runs. He's been on a hell of a run giving up tear right now. 3, 6, 4, 2, and 2. And he's not really complimenting him with the Ks. He had 10 against the Phillies. They won that game, 11-9 in extra innings. After he climbed the mountaintop, he fell right down, 3-4-3, and he did get a 5-pack against that Seattle Mariners, again at home. The reason I'm hyping on him will come clear in just a second, but Eric Lauer on the other side of things here, is he a designated opener, I guess, is the challenge. Not giving up runs, not going a lot of pitches. So now you got the lefty-lefty matchup. I like the unders, but I don't think we're going to see this guy going deep. 4 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings, 2 innings, 4 innings. Not really giving up any runs. 5 runs over his last 5 games. But can't really favor the lefty-lefty matchup if the guy's only going to go 2 or 3 innings for us. How many lefties they got out there to crank against this Arizona Diamondbacks team? But what I did find was an interesting little nugget on one Eugenio Rodriguez, excuse me. Eduardo? What am I saying? Am I stroking? Am I stroking out right now? Eduardo. Let me get it right. I thought it was Eduardo. What the fuck am I doing? Get your shit together. Okay. How about this? After he gets 3 or more strikes, he loses the next game. That's it. That's Eduardo. He sucks after he gets 3 or more strikeouts. It's a pretty low bar to have, too, by the way. 3 Ks, and he's 0-8 in those spots. And then you fire it back here. And, when the Blue Jays find themselves in a -100 to -120 range, we talked yesterday, and we were really successful with those 125s. Like, the books aren't sure where they should be. Are they a favorite? Are they a dog? Well, the Jays fire back in those positions when they're playing the National League. Over a 4-year sample, the home favorite off a win Toronto Blue Jays priced between -100 and -120 are 14-5. Good price tag, reverse line movement. Check all them boxes. We're going to run it back with the 6. We the North. Take the Toronto Blue Jays. Take a -109 price tag on them fellers to get done. 640 is about to pop, so hopefully you got the game plan going there with some of this action that I'm firing on. I had some late line movement to the under in that Miami Marlins game here as we're getting ready to 7 seconds till they start this game. Hopefully that's a good sign. Minnesota Twins, Cincinnati Reds are the next game on the clock. I started this cap when I looked at the card. I try to share with you guys some of the thought process I have when I look at these things. And the first thing I thought was, what am I doing? There we go. There she is. First thing I thought, well, guess what? Minnesota Twins like to lose in bunches. Check. Second thing I thought was, what a tremendous win we got last night. Check. Next, I thought Ellie De La Cruz fucked a lot of people. He was a pretty popular play. Check. Meaning he's probably in a good position to bounce back. Last but not least, I thought to myself, man, Bailey Ober. Remember his last game? I was foolish enough to give out his, was it his Ks? Was it his outs? I gave out something. It doesn't matter. The guy made me look like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for myself. Bailey Uber. Take the wins. We'll talk about them for a minute, and then they kind of get filed along the backside, and you're like, fuck it, whatever. This pile of dog shit goes 4.2 innings his last game. He gets hit 6 times, 7 runs. It was the 2.5 runs that I gave out. Under 2.5 runs. 7 this fucking scumbag put out there. 4 home runs. You got no command. You got no control. Your team likes to lose in bunches, and now you're playing a Reds team that, in a ballpark that's very hitter-friendly, throwing a lefty at you, and Nick Lodolo. Yikes. Now, Nick Lodolo at home is a 5.85, but again, it's a hitter-friendly ballpark at Great American. And, Nick Lodolo, with all fairness, he did kind of puke his nuts up the last game. 3.1 innings pitched. He got hit 5 times, 6 runs, 6 earned, only 1 home run. So that was Cleveland. It was an 11-2 loss. Prior to that, we saw 6 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 6. I mean, the guy's a 6. I'm not sure about that. But he's a 6-inning guy. That reminds me of a story. Anyways, and then he goes 3.1 on the road against Cleveland. Got hit 6 times, gave up 6 earned. Can we look for a bounce back position with good old Nicky Lodolo here? This total coming out at 9 definitely had a little Had a little fuzz on it, I thought there. This thing opened at minus 116. It's moving in direction of the Reds. 63% of the bets and 64% of the cash. The 9's not moving again. 96% of the bets, 94% of the cash. That's a problem because we talk about these key numbers in baseball, the 7, the 9, and the 11. Mostly we see the 11 at Coors and Wrigley when the wind's blowing out. If you're sitting on a 9 in a hitter-friendly ballpark with two pitchers that just puked and all the money's coming in on the over and it's juicing to the under, kind of a red flag on the total. So I wanted to stay off that total side of things there. What I was looking at was more of an opportunity to get behind these Cincinnati Reds again. They've done us well. They're playing well. I think they're in that situation in that rotation out there where I don't want to be involved with Uber. I think Uber's got I think he's got a lot of chunk to puke up. And I don't want to get in the way of it. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Reds in this game. I try to think to myself, is it because of Uber? No, I don't think so. I just think it's a situation where I like this play. I like this team. All right. J-Man likes to bring your ballpark. Bring your glove to the ballpark. Hey, okay. I can see that too. I just tell you my thoughts when I look at some of these totals. Like this game. Should sail over this number. And probably Ellie De La Cruz to do it. Let's just take a look at an Ellie De La Cruz. I'm not a home run guy. You guys know that. Let me just take a peek. Just for shits and gigs, as they say. Benson got some guys paid yesterday in the home run contest too. There's Ellie. plus 310 on the home run side. Let's see. What is he looking at from an RBI side? This is my problem. I went 3-1 in the RBIs with Sharpie yesterday. The one guy that didn't get it to me is Ellie. He's priced at plus 135 right now. And I always say I should have gone right back to him. I'm on the Reds. Kind of like the Reds and an Ellie De La Cruz RBI. Let's take a look here. Can we fatten this price tag up? Because this Reds number is low enough that it could come right into the wheelhouse for us. $218. Think about that. Let me think on that for a minute. Anyhow, the Reds are an official play. I may go back there and add Cincy and the Ellie De La Cruz. Oh, shit. Says you have to find another RBI. My player postponed. If you guys got postponed, fire him back out there. It's all good. It's all good. You're not stuck with a guy that's not playing. That sucks. Although, if you do get involved in a Major League Baseball game that gets postponed or your player doesn't start, books will refund those for you. So no harm, no foul. Shout out to Scut Blaster with the Skunt Bag play of the day. He's got the Athletics on the money line. He's going plus 140 for the Skunt Bag play of the day. Shout out to you, Skunk Blaster. I almost called you Skunt Bag. Shout out to you, my man. Appreciate you rocking through, supporting the cause, supporting the troops, supporting the community. Appreciate you, my friend. Let's roll on. We got a couple more baseball games. We got a WNBA game that's going to pop off here in a few minutes too. So let's get this thing. Let's pick up this pace. Let's get this thing fired up there. Fire them up. Baltimore got snuck the first game. Baltimore snuck them the second game. They've both been some lower scoring affairs here. Minus 130s have dropped to minus 115s with 73% of the bets and 75% of the cash on the Tampa Bay Rays. It means we've got reverse line movement. 9.5 has dropped to 9. Big note. 78% of the bets, 77% of the cash on the over. Dropped. Taj Bradley, Trevor Rogers. Looking at these two AL East battle, divisional situation, my thought was Tampa Bay at first. I really like looking at Tampa, but I looked at the series and I just thought the way we've been seeing these are one team produces, then the other team produces, and the other one goes ice cold. The Orioles probably are the team to go ice cold. They're 0-10 as a dog if they got at least 4 runs their previous game. So when they're using the runs as the benchmark to differentiate a team's win-loss totals, I like to think that they're going to go under that number. Tampa, on the other side of things, minus 120 to minus 140. Home favorite off a game. They allowed 5 runs. Find themselves 10-3. You know what? I'm going to add. I'm not going to add that LE spot. I got the under in this game. I'm going to add the Rays. I'm going to add that spot. Because they're sitting at that minus 115. That seems like a fair price tag. All right. That's how it goes. Add a couple plays here. That's what we're doing. We're here live. We're live betting. Oh, we're not live betting, but we're betting live. That makes sense. There it was. I was going to be on these guys. That sucks. This was such a perfect matchup for the White Sox, too. Such a good matchup for the White Sox. That was, you hear Sonny Gray. I shouldn't even bother talking about it, but Sonny Gray, you're thinking, all right, it's Sonny Gray. And we just talked to him up, but he was at home. On the road, he's not the same Sonny Gray. And for some reason, the bats crack Sonny Gray when they're in the White Sox uniform. So I liked that matchup a lot, but it sucks that it's been postponed. Now the whole thing's probably thrown out the window. It's okay. We sweat yesterday. We sweat this under. And by the way, the under's back in play again today. Yesterday it was 21-2 on that Rangers side of things, remember? And we had the 8.5. Woo! They scored early. They scored often. They scored in the first inning. It was banging away. It was like 3-0 in the first inning. The under, 2-9 when the Rangers are playing as a home team in the dog roll. Dog Rangers under. Kansas City, though, 9-2 when they're priced at that minus 120 to minus 140 range. Off a win over the last 7 years. I was shitting on their bats. When they wake up, and they got plenty on that roster with the additions of key guys like Johnny India coming in there to complement your Bobby Witts, and Salvador Perez is out there. I'm going to take this Kansas City Royals team. I'm going to jump in there. I'm not afraid to fade Texas. I mean, 56% of the bets, 63% of the cash are on the Kansas City Royals. It's come down a couple cents against them. Not a ton, but some worth noting. 86% of the bets and 80% of the cash are on the over 8 in that spot. It is Patrick Corbin. It's Patty C. And it's Bubic. So I like the under in this game as well. I like a ladder on the Bubic side of things here. Why the fuck not? 6Ks, 7Ks, 8Ks, 9Ks. When these Ranger bats go cold, they are ice cold, as I said. They got his 5.5 priced at minus 150. Yeah. Against this Rangers team? Come on. I don't know. To me, I think this is surprisingly not the old Patrick Corbin of old, or not the Patrick Corbin of old, but I still like Bubic. I still think this is the guy you want to play on overall. And I think it's a great opportunity for the Royals. Once those bats wake up, you got that lefty, by the way. We know that's a favorable little stint for us here. But from a consistency and reliability standpoint, Bubic goes 6 innings in 5 of his last 6 starts. And he's got a sub-2 ERA. So, that being said, I don't know how much longer Patty C gets the pass. I mean, he's starting to show a little bit of, I don't know if that's fair to say or not either, but to start off June, he's got a 3.46 ERA over 2 starts. He has gone 13 innings. I like this spot. I like this Kansas City spot. The visiting team, tight team series, 279, 175 out there for the Royals. Kansas City's going to get us paid tonight. And we got that 9-2 trend. Again, 120s to 140s. That just to me says that they're not sure if the bats are going to wake up or not. But I think we saw a little Joe Boo action, helping them bats wear them hats, if you know what I'm talking about. Hats for the bats. Let's roll on to the last game here. 2 games. Well, you know what? Let me give you this one first because we got a second. I got one WNBA game tonight. Just an Uno spot, a single. There's only one game on the card. The basic gist of this, we just saw the Sun get busted up by 17 points and cover. That was last night, though. The Mercury are coming into this thing rested. They're laying 14.5. That's a meaty and lofty number. but it is the second leg of a back-to-back for the Sun. Some would say, well, why wouldn't you just take the Mercury full game then? That's a lot of points. I mean, I'm not in love with this Mercury team from top to bottom, but I'll cut it down. I'll cut it down and expect that they can go out there and handle. I mean, the line moved from 13.5 to 14.5. Like I said, the Mercury on 2 days rest, coming into this thing against that restless squad, and they've been busting teams up. Now, granted, they're Dallas and Vegas. They kind of caught some good teams in some bad spots, but that to me means those lines are just a little overinflated. We've seen that where, like, the Dallas Wings, they won yesterday. What do they got now? 2. Oh, no, we're not. What the fuck is going on? Anyways, I think that line just got a little bloated, and it's moved. That scares the shit out of me because this team, when you look at the Mercury overall, 7-5 against the spread. So, 2-2 on the road. I think it just got too many points written on the back end of this thing, and at the same time, yeah, the Sun coming off of that cover. The Sun lost to the Sky. Let's put it in perspective. 78-66 as 1.5 point favorites. And that was at home. So if you can lose to Angel Reese, you can get busted up by the Mercury. These two teams are night and day difference here. And the Mercury ain't afraid to play some defense. When they get rolling, their offense can get hot and they can shut teams down on defense. And I think that's good enough for us here. We'll take the Mercury in the first half of this WNBA game. Again, had a little 3-0 sweepage yesterday in the NBA, WNBA, better knock on wood. And we got one game left in Major League Baseball. Some interesting spots here for the evening slate of Major League Ball. I kind of think the Padres are going to handle the Dodgers. Sharps agree. Sharp perspective betting action coming in on the San Diego Padres. It's because we have a debutante for the season in Major League Baseball, and Kolick and Sheehan on those bumps. I don't know. Kind of like the Padres. Nothing official there yet. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll drop something later. Astros, 85% of the bets, 89% of the cash. Lines come down. In other words, they thought it was priced too high. Total at 9.5 with 84% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the over. Interesting note, they will not let you take a 9 in this game in a parlay. Fromber, Severino. That's the pitching showdown that we have between these two guys, these two squads. And when you look at them and you dig in deep, Fromber's been Fromber. He's been firing, although, lefty side of things, I automatically like the advantage. You guys know the deal. It's not a lot to sell me on Houston here. Fromber did give up 7 hits in his last start, though. So with that being said, it was 2 earned runs. That was against the White Sox. Now they won the game. Surprise, surprise. 7 innings, 6 innings, 9 innings, 7 innings, 5 innings. It's Fromber. Fromber's not afraid to pitch to some contact and throw a couple runs on the board, which is why I like the spot that we're looking at here with this game. Houston, 11-2 when they're pretty good-sized road favorites against divisional opponents. 11-2, priced between 160s and 180s. Houston should be out there and handle business. And look, Fromber struck out 12 dudes in that White Sox game. So despite giving up some contact, he's 10-0 when he struck out at least 10 dudes the previous game. So we're taking Houston. That's the first side of this thing. And I referenced they won't let me get a 9 in there. So I only had the option of getting an 8.5 in there. Over is 16-5, and the Athletics play as the home team off a loss versus a righty. Big opportunity for scores to be flying. Even though we got Fromber as a lefty, they did just play a righty. That puts this trend in play. I took it down to 8.5. I've got Houston and the over 8.5. Look, if we end at 9, so be it. So it be if we end at 9. Give me Houston. I like Houston -1. I like Houston on the run line. I think Houston bust up the A's. That's my official play of the late night slate, which I don't like seeing Skunk Blaster head to head with me in this spot there. That doesn't It doesn't give me a good, warm, and fuzzy feeling. Nasty Nate says Royals plus 1.5 in the under 10.5 parlay. I don't think you need the 1.5, Nate. I think they slap him. They give him the old pimp slap. Powdered up hand, pop, right across the face mask. J Main says Guardians. Reverse run line. Going Cleveland reverse. Verlander, this his rehab start. What I do like about that is I believe he's going to be on a pitch count. So you might be onto something there. I don't think they're going to let him go 5-6 innings. I think they want to keep him out. I'm not sure how much it matters either way. But that being said, we're going to put the bow on the show, you guys. Thank you, everybody, for rocking in here today. Shout out to Skunkbag, play of the day on the Athletics. But it's our guy, Skunk Blaster. Shout out to you, Skunk Blaster, and everybody that came in here rocking and rolling with us today. Hey, look, one more show for Pregaming this week. No show on Friday. We do have a live stream tomorrow night for the NBA Finals, game number 6. We'll see if OKC Thunder can put the bow on the show. And the UFC playbook will be out shortly. We've got golf for you guys to check out now. We've got First Strike coming out later tonight. And the VB and Ramon Scott plays are out there for the early looks to beat the UFC books from everybody out there. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, thanks everybody for coming through, checking us out here tonight. Let's stay hot. We stay hot. We don't have to get hot. You know, that's the deal. That's how I like to get down. Let's get after it. Good luck to everybody tonight.